Welcome to Venator Chronicles Podcast, a revolutionary podcast
Not really.
by two dudes learning how to hunt. I'm Ethan Taylor.
And I'm Dustin Jelly. Here, we take hunting serious, and ourselves, not so much.
So sit back, enjoy the laughs and lessons.
All right, another episode without Dusty. Guys, I don't know how to say this. He's just been out for weeks. Absolutely, he's been out for weeks. Clearly, we definitely don't record some of these all in the same night. Thankfully, Ben and Isaiah and Derek have made time again.
Cleared my schedule.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you guys stepping up and all three of you trying to fill Dusty's one role.
He's a big
Great.
man.
Yeah. Great job. So then we kind of left off the last episode last week, wink, wink, on the areas we are going to do deer drives in and why we're picking them, kind of like what's informing all of that. So we started with the 10 deer commandments as kind of the big picture of everything, and then now we're kind of funneling it down a little bit to the next level. So first of all, growing up, and obviously I have two of my brothers in here, and so they'll resonate with this. I don't know, Derek, of your hunting history. But growing up, it was pretty much, obviously at a very early age, we were stuck in a tree and said, don't move until I come back. At least that was my recollection. How about you guys? Did you guys have that same?
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Just absolutely freezing
Just sit here
nuts off.
with a 12 gauge.
Yeah, Ben made me sit in a box stand all day long.
You had a box stand. Nice. I was on a tree branch.
Well, it was.
An icy tree branch.
I was gonna say it wasn't the nicest bougie box stand. Okay, this thing was
Rickety.
2 miles back in the woods. So if we even shot a deer, and it's uphill both ways to drag that thing out.
like I'm only shooting a 10-pointer plus.
Yeah.
I
It's the
found
only
that
thing
box
worth it.
stand. That was not my box stand.
Yeah, it was.
I added carpet.
Yeah.
Was it on public land?
Yes.
It's public property. Perfect.
Someone else did this.
I did not drag materials back there. It was there.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
dude,
too
I
much
find
work.
so many old stands that I'm like, I respect it. I respect the grind. Perfect. Okay. So, yeah, growing up, so that was kind of the first start of it, was like we were just put in a spot and you stayed there. So, zero thought, zero planning, and that was that. And then as we got older, we were able to be a part of deer drives, whether they were happening or not when we were younger. I don't remember a ton of deer drives happening like when we were young.
Not super young. No,
Yeah.
just kind of here and there.
Yeah, so it was like just preteen into teens. We was like, oh, we're doing deer drives now, right? And it was, again, pardon the pun, but it was like kind of like a shotgun blast. Like, all right, here we go. You guys are standing here. I'm going here. Well, not even that. You guys stand here, watch for deer, and then we'll push it. And
Yeah,
you're
my
okay.
first time my wife came out with us for deer drives, it was in that season of life, and she almost got ran over by a deer because she was looking the opposite direction.
Perfect.
Not by her
Perfect.
fault.
That's what you need. That's what you want.
That's basically the deer drives. Now,
She wasn't your wife at this time, right? Preteens.
yeah, she was.
Preteens. Yeah.
I was.
We grew up
she did-
Amish. We were married by age 10.
We got married when she was 17 and I was 19. So
All right. Well, there's
the
that.
record.
For the record. Let the record show. All right. So that's kind of like what we had come up in, at least like before we were legally able to drive a car. Derek, what about you?
I had like no hunting background really when I was a kid, and then none of my family really hunts. So like my immediate family. So
Are you like the first hunter of your family?
Yeah, I've got
go.
like cousins and stuff that hunt, but like my dad wasn't into it.
Yep.
Grandpa, none of that. So I was just like kind of figuring it out by myself, and then rifle season was. I don't know, maybe you go out, maybe you don't. You sit in a stand, you freeze the entire day and hope you see something. And then got into bow hunting 5-6 years ago.
Warms the heart just thinking of it. Thinking of it.
That was my thing. Got into distance shooting with that. And then when I met Isaiah, I had like my most modern rifle, I think, was from like the 60s.
Sick. Tried and true.
Mosin Nagant or what?
Yeah, and then I
Fixed bayonets.
started shooting with him. got the AR, started playing around with that, and then started going out hunting with these guys. And it was like, you want to come out? And it's like, I've never hunted with anybody before.
Yeah.
It was like rifle season was, everybody's hitting the woods, so I would rather not be around other people. But
Yeah.
and then ever since then, it's like, man, I'm hooked.
Dude, yeah, and I'll speak for Dusty, and he can clarify when he's feeling well. But his experience, from my understanding, essentially has been when it comes to rifle season, is as he would put it, a bunch of FUDs. Elmer Fuds is the
Yeah,
the
I remember
reference.
that episode.
Yeah, Ben's bitter about that. But it was a bunch of the Orange Army, right? Like that was the whole thing, and it was just like how you picture deer drives going, where it's
Exactly.
like we're describing in our early childhood, where it's just kind of like, oh, I'm standing here, you have no idea what's happening. You just have a gun in your hand, and it's kind of like, I just passed hunter safety.
Lots of people getting lost in the woods.
Yeah, it would before Onyx
Drives
and all the
taking
good
4
stuff.
hours because he can't find someone.
Yeah, exactly. And so when he had joined us for the first year, and I remember we did this little mini debrief. I mean, we stopped and we grabbed some food together and we were talking, and it was just like, it was like a come down for him where he was like, that was a lot. And a big part of that was like it felt chaotic to him, right? And we had kind of come up in it, and we've changed a lot of things. And like the last episode, we've had a lot of things that were kind of put in place, and we knew what was happening and why it was happening. And I remember, I think like a week or two later, he was like, actually, I definitely am going to do that, because he was like, I'm not doing that again. Like I was way too intent. He's like, I don't want to say afraid, but like it felt like because there was guns and it was like so chaotic, it seemed. He was like, I don't know about this.
Well, even like
Was more the
yelling,
sentiment.
like, what are you, yeah, there's like, it was chaotic.
Yeah, but that's fair. That's fair.
No, I don't blame him.
Luke might have been leading the charge at that point still yet. But anyway, he was like, I learned a lot. It was like a week or two later. He's like, I actually learned a ton about my gun system, about like what I actually need and want for this to be effective. He's like, I'm definitely coming out again.
Oh man, that could be a whole episode.
It could be.
Is guns,
Just
guns and
Kit
gear.
breakdown.
Yeah.
It is. That's evolved a lot.
They'll need
Yeah.
photos and videos to see what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. But this could be. You guys are probably going to start your own podcast after this. All right. So,
Can we
all right.
borrow your gear?
for a price. Just kidding. But anyway, that's kind of all of our real rough overview background, just kind of coming up in it, and it kind of just being like you just kind of showed up, like that we were along for the ride more or less. And I would say in more not recent years, but the last probably 10 years, maybe Luke's kind of been leading the charge. Would you say, Ben?
Yeah, he has been.
Yeah.
I mean,
So like 10 years ago up to 5 years ago, probably Luke has been running it. More or
Yeah,
less.
once I made some friends.
Yeah.
So, Derek. So
Yeah, Derek.
Been slowly infiltrated with friends to take over
We're taken over by
It
numbers.
was like Hunger Games, dude. It was
I'll
sick.
probably get kicked
We're
out of the
running
group.
Alliances
Wow.
were made. Yeah. So, okay. So then going from this spot of like, hey, we just show up and we aren't, the quote unquote elders of this, this whole deer drive thing, to now a spot where we're finding ourselves more in that position where it's like we're kind of leading the charge.
Yep.
I wouldn't say myself by any means. I'd say Ben's leading the charge as far as my perspective. Do you guys have anything to? Do I have any naysayers? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
The lead.
This is
When-
on record.
He's our fearless leader.
I
our
am
fearless
the
leader.
lead scout. They're the lead shooters.
I shoot
Here you
stuff.
go.
I show up
Whatever
and
you
shoot
wanna call
stuff.
'em.
Ben tells me where to go.
I shoot a lot of trees and ground.
Yes.
Really shake things up. Get the
I,
earth
yeah, I
moving.
really like to, nature.
If you
know,
know, you
you
know.
Pretty neat.
How neat is that? All right.
That's an aspen.
It's tree poop. All right. So, back on track.
Oh, that's so classic.
I'm
though.
dying, dude.
Reel it in.
Okay, reeling it in. Reeling it in. I'm all alone. Dusty's not here to host with me.
We're talking about deer drives.
Deer
Okay.
drives.
Scouting.
Scouting.
But before we get to that, though,
Oh my gosh.
we've got to work our way, Ben. I know you're excited for the entree, but let's give the people the appetizer. Okay? There's a transition of power.
Transition.
There's a coup. No.
Game of Thrones of the
Yeah,
deer drive.
exactly. Oh my gosh. All right.
So I took Luke out.
He had to replace his hip after this battle.
You had to sit on a cushion.
All right. So Luke was kind of leading the charge.
Not kinda. He was.
Luke was 100%
Straight
leading the
up.
charge. And we killed a lot of does and yearling bucks. Is that fair to say?
Yes. From
I'm-
my
this isn't-
time.
I wanted
yes.
to
This
say-
isn't a dig, guys.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
saying this is
we would
my
get
recollection.
deer, more deer that you would get sitting a stand, over bait, freezing, and it was way more fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say way more deer because he lives down south. He can't scout that much. I mean, he's
Yep.
literally having to. He doesn't live down south. Wherever
He lives in in the cities. So 2.5 hours away, whatever.
Yep. And then he'd have to come up and do all the scouting and stuff. I would go with him, learn from him what to do, what not to do.
Yep.
Bait 30 stand.
And then bait 30 stands. That's how I mean, I wouldn't be hunting without him because he paid me to bait all of his
He
stands.
bankrolled
And then
Ben.
his
Yeah.
friends,
He
that's how I
bankrolled
could
Ben.
afford deer season, the
Yep.
gas. So, but yeah.
Okay. So then, in even more recent years, we've switched to where Ben is, I would say, leading the charge, especially on the scouting front. And I've talked about this prior in the podcast when I was talking to Dusty about getting the bucks we got last year. We're in an interesting stage where, like, you and I sat down last year, and it was like, okay, we know if we need quantity, how to do that, right? Like, and it's going to be a lot of does with the occasional buck. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, if on an accident, if it's dumb enough to come out.
Yeah, like, or if it's, and if it's locked down with the doe, so it's just in a place that you wouldn't maybe usually be, whatever, or dumb luck, stumbled across it type of thing. And then I think it was before last season, we were talking about like, okay, well, what about this idea of like actually focusing on finding bucks, right?
Yeah.
It was a total new mental approach to deer drives, right?
Which I kind of was opposed of in my mind because it's like fishing. I don't want to fish for walleye or muskie because that's boring. I want to be actually catching fish.
Just hammering them.
I just want to hammer them, so I'm going to go for bluegills. Okay, so
Interesting.
That's my mindset. That's why I stopped sitting stands. We do deer drives all 9 days.
Quantity over quality, baby.
I
You're like the venison
I'm never-
tastes the same.
Yeah, I'm never sitting stands again. So
Yep. Which is where I'm at, because like I had years where you got like people would be like, all right, we're gonna sit the first half of the season, give or take, and then we'll do deer drives like after that. And I would show up because I was archery hunting for bucks, and it was like, oh well, I want to hang out with the family, I want to go out and do deer drives, and do the camaraderie side of things. And then I would come more towards the tail end of the season because that's what you guys were doing is deer drives at that point.
yeah, for like
And I'd-
half a day, shoot your deer and leave.
Yeah, and then people would go and sit in the stand the second half, and I was like, I just had zero interest in that personally. But now, yeah, like you said, it is all deer drives all the time, right?
Yeah. So Onyx, huge game changer for me. I was out there
Looking for
plat
that
booking.
sponsorship.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Yeah. You've already said it multiple times. Let's not.
I reached out to them in the early years of our podcast. They did not sponsor. Well, they did not sponsor us, but they gave us a full year of Elite, which got me on the hook.
Gotcha
And
on
then your boy's paying for it every year now. And then also they sent me a T-shirt. So
Dope.
still kind of winning, even though they get my money.
That's a W.
Yeah.
we take that as a W. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, if they want to sponsor us, that's great. So anyway, yes, Onyx. Let's sing their praises, shall we?
Yes, massive game changer. I always got tracker on. So what we're looking at right now is I got a 15 a mile by 30 mile long stretch going from like north. Oh my goodness, northwest like southeast or whatever. So in a certain area that I will not mention.
Yeah.
So
Which will remain unnamed.
yeah, so I've really been
This is the way.
focusing on that and over the last like 3-4 years gone down like every single trail I can
Logging
fit
road,
down.
yeah,
Derek,
yeah.
I mean, we got people bouncing like crazy. I've lost, muffler here and there. Ball joints need to be replaced.
Windshield.
So yeah,
Also,
I got
get a
stick straight-
sponsorship from Chevy. Man, the way a Chevy can hold up to some of these trails, incredible.
I think Chevy does make Jeeps, doesn't it? No, it's Dodge.
Mopar.
Mopar? Okay.
So close, so close. Anyways,
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, like 1 in a million.
Okay. But let's start with like last. Do you feel like last year was the shift for you? Like the shift? Or was it the year before last? Or was it, is it?
the only reason why I did buck drives last year is because you were coming out, and that's basically
That's love right there.
That's literally the only reason. I was worried about these guys just be like, this is lame. We're not shooting anything, and it turns out when I talked to them, they're like, we don't care, and I'm like, oh, I had all this anxiety about you guys.
Dude, that's
I'm like-
that's actually so funny to hear. Like I had no idea up to this point that you were essentially worried about it or that you were doing it quote unquote for me. Because we were talking last year and it was like, dude, we don't get any mature bucks like in any of our deer drives. Like we don't even get like 2-year-olds in our deer drives. I mean, there's like the lore of like the time where, oh, hey, like you said last episode where it's like, we chased this one buck for 3 days because we stumbled across it essentially, right?
Well, it was wounded. It was the main reason I was
Yeah.
chasing it. If it
Otherwise-
wasn't shot, like people are like, oh, I passed a big buck or whatever. I won't pass a 4-pointer.
Yep.
So, but if I miss a 4-pointer, I'm not gonna, track it for days.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
It,
Hey, that's me.
but it was wounded. So like the shift for me was Ethan's coming out. He likes shooting, bucks. So I'm gonna set up some buck drives
You know
because
what's-
I
it's
literally
so-
you think
yeah.
people are gonna think this is stupid. I literally focus on does. Like when I drive around, I do a lot of driving around scouting. I want to know like the population in the area. I have pockets where I'm like, dude, we're gonna get like tons of does off this drive.
Yeah.
We better bring the whole crew and family
Yeah,
and kids
yeah.
for it.
Dude, this is a really fun realization because I did not know that was like the motivating factor. So I appreciate you, Ben.
Yeah, I
Thanks
want
for
to
looking out, big
waste
dog.
time on drives where I can't get deer out.
See,
I've been hunting with you for years, and you never had this kind of sentiment for me. I'm there all season. He's there 2 days. What's going on?
Hey, you got 2 bucks last year, okay?
I ain't complaining
Nice.
about that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so are you saying it's me to think? No. Okay.
Yes.
But no, like during our conversation, the thing that was really exciting to me is that I could take like the things that I like the principles or whatever that I'm using to like, okay, what's the mature buck area? Like what kind of land features do they like? Where do they like to hold up essentially kind of thing? And then instead of like slowly, methodically hunt my way in, it's like, we'll just go push the crap out of them.
Yeah.
Right. And so like that part of it, like when we had that conversation, like I lit up like a Christmas tree because I was like, this could be game changing. Like this could be really sick. And especially when you get a good group of guys that, and it's not to say we won't do doe drives. Like I want meat.
Yep.
That's like our saving grace in my marriage is I'm like, I'll get deer in rifle season. Don't worry, we'll get venison. I'm just trying to, get a big buck right now. And so, being able to like, for me in my mind, I was like, I get to test the theories and the things that I think I'm learning from other more experienced hunters and my own theories, whatever. I get to kind of test the theories of where I would think bucks would be. But I knew going into it, it was like, I mean, I even told my kids, I was like, because you had asked me that morning when I had my two oldest with me, and I was like, all right, boys, do you guys want to go get a bunch of does, or do you want to maybe see nothing all day, or maybe we have a chance at a buck? And they're like, let's go for a buck. And that had to be the mentality for the group. Like the group had to be okay with that, right?
Well, I didn't tell them.
You didn't?
No, I just
I love it.
I just knew that
So good.
because I know it. I was a little worried about like you guys be like, man.
Isaiah's-
Normally, because normally
the H?
Because normally on a drive, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but there's like a 90%. Say we do 10 drives in a day. If there spots I'm scouted, and sometimes we'll have to drive like 20 minutes to the next drive when there's plenty of drives around, but I'm like, we're going to get deer out of this. So I'm like, there's like a 90% chance. So you like that you're going to see deer on every drive or shoot
Yeah.
them because the way that I'm setting up the drives.
Yeah.
Well, with these buck drives is they're so thick you can't get much shooting.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to push, and there's probably not going to be does in here. It's going to be a buck because I know what to look for.
Yep.
But I just didn't really care.
And it's against, and it goes against, like, again, like you said, it's that, like, the group mentality. Like when you're working with the whole group, you're trying to do the camaraderie thing, and like everybody wants to fill a tag, right? Like everybody does, and everybody's happy for everybody. But in my mind, like again, like I think the celebration around a good buck is unmatched. First of all, like I literally had tears in my eyes. Like I had my two oldest kids with me last year, and like Dad was there, you guys were there, and I was like, this is the biggest buck I've ever shot, right? And to be able to, I'm not cracking up, my throat is feeling weird.
Getting emotional again thinking about
dust in both my eyes. No, but no, it was really cool to be able to share that with everyone and to look back at the years we've had and be like, in my recollection, I'm like, we as a group have never had anything like this happen.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Isaiah's buck, for starters, I was like, I don't know if we had anything the size of that 8-pointer happen up to that point.
Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing bigger deer than last year.
Yeah. Exactly. And so to me, I was like, that to me was even more exciting than, because it seemed like we had, like I said, like we know like you said, you know where to go if you need does in quantity. And you're right, 9 times out of 10, you'll see a deer, if not kill it.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have that high probability. And so to kind of like be able to go out and test the theory of like, all right, we're either going to see absolutely nothing or we think we'll see a buck. Obviously a doe could be in there, but that was the most fun I've ever had as far as like with the group out like doing something. Even if I didn't shoot that and someone else did, like to share that, like when Isaiah had his, I was like, holy crap, this is sick. Like this is huge.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, continue on about like your scouting side of it. We were talking about last year kind of, I guess apparently, which I did not know, was like because of me. So love you, bro. That was very kind of you. Kind of switching to a little bit of like what would happen if we tried to push like bucks out of this. Mm-hmm. Are you still like, do you have a real interest in like pushing bucks? Or are you still kind of like...
Well, right now, I just want to test the theory because last year was the first year that I actually am like, oh, I'll push this because it's got the sign that showing that it's holding a buck.
It's riding the high of last year. Like, that's how I feel. It's like, well, that went great when we were like, hey, Ben, can we push bucks? And he goes, yep. And we push bucks and we get bucks.
Yeah, I still feel it's a working theory.
It's a working theory.
Yeah, exactly.
So like this year we could do the same thing and maybe there are no bucks in those areas. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, but we still have a better chance than just pushing does on purpose all day.
Yeah,
Right,
and I
we,
don't want
we
to be.
push the white pine rows, right? They use for the telephone poles and the log or whatever, however many years. And we see the same thing over and over, right? And then
Yeah.
the occasional four pointer type of thing
Yep.
situation.
And then you accidentally run to the buck, like where Isaiah almost got shot. So
Derek was there.
Derek was
He laid
there.
down.
I don't know how close he was, but it's like we've driven that section like
Year over
Hundreds
year,
of times.
over year.
Hundreds of
year over
times.
I
year.
literally get sick of.
It's
I don't
boring.
like pushing the same sections,
Yeah,
even
it's-
if they're holding those. Like I've been stocking up on deer drives where I'm like, I want to explore. I don't want to be doing the same, deer drives. Yeah, they hold deer, but it's like super boring.
Yeah.
So
Well, do you feel like it takes some of the mystery out of it for you? I mean, obviously we never know what's in there, of course, but like when you do it for 5-6 years in a row, where you push the thing maybe twice in a season, right? Because you don't know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's times where we push the same thing, like you push at the beginning of the season, and then the end of the season. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that's a big reason why, like, I think I sat one time on one deer drive and I got a doe when Isaiah pushed it to me. And then I was like, that wasn't really fun. I wonder what Isaiah saw in the woods when he was pushing. Like, what would the terrain was like?
wild.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I'm like, I love pushing areas because I love exploring and seeing, the different hard edges of the different foliage, or like if it has hills, all that stuff. I'm like, it's like,
If
I
it
like
has funnels for next time, you
Yeah,
don't know
exactly.
until you're back in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, and then Ben is. I mean, we have obviously a lot of good pushers, and everybody seems willing to push.
Oh, everyone's
which is
more
part
than
of the
willing.
group. Yeah,
But
but it's kind of
I
like
have
a group
to, I have to
mentality again.
force you to sit. And I'm like, I want to push Ben. No, I need you on this drive for this quick shot. And I'm
Like,
bruh.
yeah, but like that goes again to kind of that camaraderie side of it, where it's like when you get good people who are all working towards the same goal, it's like everybody's willing to do any job to get the job done, type of thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a little chilly when you're standing there for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
at
I
a
mean,
time.
once you start driving, I mean, I can't sit because, and then you just,
You're sweating,
Sweat.
yeah, and then if you
I'm
stand
like,
still,
no.
you're freezing.
It's like you do one drive, you're like, oh, I can't sit.
There is something about pushing the like really crappy ones though, where you look at it, it's like, oh, this is gonna suck, but it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah,
Just go right
Because
through
the
it.
deer are.
Because,
Oh,
yeah.
I want to go where the deer live.
When you find fresh beds.
Yeah,
Push in and you're just like, you're going to start hearing shooting soon. Because
Yes.
there are those fresh, warm beds
dude,
steaming
and
still.
it's like winning. It's like you get a little lotto ticket when you're pushing and someone starts shooting and you don't know what they shot at,
Just start
dude.
cheering.
It's almost like not knowing, like even. Like
It's like
you're-
Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a
It's
scratch.
like, oh,
It's like a
there's a
scratch
present, but
off
what
on
is it?
steroids. You're literally about to like show up like it's Christmas and be like, I know I got something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. That drive that I designated as a buck drive that I wanted you to get up in that tree.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man, if I hear shooting, there's going to be a buck down. I was
Dude.
like, I didn't know
was
there
more
would be
than one.
I didn't know that there'd be 3 bucks down, but like I'm like this it's a big drive, but I know that even with the 2 people, like I don't know, but like I had a
good sense.
yeah, I put
Good
a lot of
sense.
time into scouting that one drive. So
Yeah, well, it clearly paid off by the horns hanging on the wall behind you. Yeah, so we did we kind of tested the theory last year, and now we're kind of in a spot where it's like, I guess I'm now wondering, since you only did that for me at that point, what's your mentality going into this next season? I know you've been doing a ton of scouting. What are you looking for? Like, what is it that you're doing when you're out there?
well, the mentality, I don't know how to answer that, but what I'm doing right now is on Onyx. I have color coding for the different deer drives.
Yep.
So I got them color coded for which ones I'm really hyped up for a specific buck drive, and then I have a different color coding for like this is a buck drive, but I'm not super excited about it. And then same thing with does. And then I have them where they're overlapped, where it's like this is gonna hold bucks, this is gonna hold does too. And then it's like, okay, well, what are people wanting? They want a high probability of a buck, and it's gonna really suck to walk and to set up, and this drive might
And you
take
might
2
not
hours,
see anything.
and you might not see anything.
Yeah.
To you know, I'm confident that we can get, you know, something on this. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So,
Confident in a sense of like, I'm guessing, in
Well, I
an
mean-
educated guess, like even like with Isaiah's first buck, I knew that place was holding bucks to the best that you can can know.
Yep.
That's one that I've driven three years in a row, have not gotten a single deer off that drive.
Yep.
But like right next to it, you get tons of does and then small bucks. Well, we kept. It was like, I'm going to push this because it's, you know, a buck drive, but these deer keep going. They keep cutting.
It's the
back.
setup. It's the setup, right?
So it's yeah. But I don't want to say dumb luck. I feel like we tested it out. It worked like we wanted, but also the deer could have been 40 yards to the right, and I couldn't have pushed it out. Deer couldn't have pushed it out.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to obviously be in the right positioning, and I feel
Yeah.
like that was something on that deer drive where you and Isaiah got the bucks, where it's like, if we didn't do that in the evening, I don't think we would have got them, because they would have been the popple whips right next to it. So because the timing worked out, which I did not plan on.
Yep.
I don't think we would have got the $3. I think we maybe would have got one out of there. But the timing lined up, and that's one of the other things I'm thinking about is like timing, whether in the season or even in the day when you actually want to be pushing these sections.
Yeah. Well, and I think another factor too that you'll have that we've had come into play a lot is like
You've done the scouting, and you're like, okay, I know what to, you know, like you have an expectation out of an area, and then you show up, and you got a truck parked there, right? And you're like, well, we're not, and that's one thing we've done where it's like, and it's probably it's the 11th commandment, which is don't screw up a guy's hunt who's sitting.
Yeah, who's
right
already there.
Yeah.
So we try to be extremely mindful of that. And if we see a truck like parked say if we have a block of timber, whatever,
Yeah.
however you want to phrase it, if it looks like it's any part of the push, we go to the next one.
Yeah,
Right.
well-
I mean, you've probably got over 100 different deer drives.
Yeah, one of the things we started doing
To choose
I
from.
can't remember who mentioned it, but they're like, why are we not driving like as far around this section that we're going to drive as possible and make sure there's no trucks? Because we've set up where it's like, oh, we don't see any trucks here, and then we set up the sitters, and then we drive around to the other side, and it's like,
Yeah.
there's a truck.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
pick
brought
up
that
all
up
the
last
sitters.
year because there were a couple drives where it's like we pushed. I think there's one drive where I started pushing into this place, and there wasn't a truck parked there.
Yeah.
But I got 200 yards back in the woods, and I see a guy up in a tree, and I'm like, all right, well, the drive's already started. I'm just gonna go as far left as I can away from this guy.
Yeah.
To give him space and continue the drive, but I try to get out of his area as much as possible.
Yeah.
But it was just unexpected because it was also kind
Yeah.
of midday, like noon or 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Dude's
So
just
and the no
grinding.
car there, no
Dude's
tracks walking,
grinding
no
and
car
you're
there,
just-
no tracks walking in on this trail, and so he ended up coming from the opposite side of the drive, and that's where he must have walked in from.
Yeah.
And so we won't know unless we do if there's a road to circle around the whole drive just to make sure no one's already in there.
Just
Exactly.
doing a full sweep.
Yeah.
We got to do a full sweep. Yeah, I think that has impacted a lot of our timing and our ability to do different drives.
sure.
And just being mindful of other hunters. Like, I mean, that played into. I think that even played into like when we even start drives when it comes like in years past
Yeah.
when we didn't have a ton of options. It felt like we were like waiting to a certain part of the season because then it seemed like the hunters dwindled off a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
opening
for sure.
weekends,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
worst.
Yeah.
So it's difficult though, because like you go out scouting, like I've spent like, it can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours scouting out one deer drive. And you're scouting when it's not gun season. And you put all that time in, and then come deer season, you got like 5 people on this stretch, but it's good, and they're not pushing it, they're just sitting it. So those deer hunker down exactly where you think they are, but you can't get to them because there's hunters surrounding them. But
Yeah.
they're not going to shoot them because they know they're there.
Yeah, because they're coming out at night type of thing. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And so we've had some missed opportunities, and then some opportunities where we're able to push it when they're not there, and we go in and push the deer out.
Public land.
Public land, baby.
We respect them and then
Yeah,
as much
yeah.
as possible.
So, is there anything different going into this year from last year? That I mean, you're spending a ton of time scouting. Is there anything different you're looking at going into this year, or is it just like building the portfolio of options?
Building the portfolio, yes. Also, man, I really want to get some cams like for these deer drives to put out. My buddy actually just gave me 3. I got one out on a scrape right next to a rub. So, just to see what's in the area, because maybe I can cut back on all the, scouting if I can just find an area where I'm like, oh, this has a buck in here. We're gonna just push the areas that look good around it until we can, bump this thing up. So,
And so I'm curious too. Like, are you like, what's your mindset? Like, has it changed anything around like, hey, we're looking for mature bucks, or is it kind of like where are you at with all that? Because based on, so full transparency, like again, learning for the first time is like, oh, well, I really only did buck drives because you were interested in them. Is that something that is like interesting to you at this point to like, hey, is this theory working out? Are we actually wanting to like look for mature bucks, or what are your thoughts on all that?
I mean, I got something on that. Realistically, and not trying to be cocky or whatever, if we want to shoot does, we can shoot does.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, we can shoot does all day long if we want to.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about last year was like, hey, we're going to push this. It might have a chance of a buck, but there might not be does. But half the time, there were does.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
around those bucks.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if we just push with the intention of mature bucks or bucks with, good buck area, we're going to get does out of those regardless. And if we don't, we take the last day of the season to go shoot does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the things is too, though, is like with a situation like that, are people going to be willing to pass on a doe or couple does? 3 does is like, oh man, I get to, make sure my cadence is good and knock these things down. But,
We're looking at you, Isaiah.
because I mean, like you don't get much practice on moving targets at the range. So, but are people going to be able to pass up does and not see a buck come out and, be okay with that? And that's just something that, like, all these different things I'm learning. Like, I've been listening to a lot of, obviously, all of your guys' podcasts.
Of course, guys.
But
Shout out from your
Our-
podcast
yeah,
to your
yeah.
podcast.
exactly.
Yeah, our archery podcast is super informative for your deer
Well,
drives.
It actually, it is in the sense of like, I listen to you guys and then I listen to Southern Outdoorsmen, obviously THP, I watch all their stuff.
Dan
But
Infold,
yeah, but
you got some words? Go ahead.
no.
Let's create some drama. That'll
No.
really get things going.
If we go big, I don't want to have enemies. So, anyways, but
When, not if.
yeah, right. But I don't have it all together. There's so many things I'm learning. Like I didn't even know that why deer moved in a cold front. I'm like, oh, they need to warm up. It's like, no, it's because they have a hard time regulating their temperature, and when it's cold, they can move longer, and so you're gonna have a better chance in getting in the woods. I found that out 2 days ago.
Hey,
So for me,
Well, that's
it's
a
like,
first for me. I
So-
found that out now.
So like, I grew up bow hunting and, gun hunting, but there's just so much knowledge in trying to figure out how to apply, all this stuff with even like bow season, like thermals. You explained that a couple months to me of how thermals work. And I'm like, okay, that's not helpful for gun season, but
in the context of deer drives.
Yeah.
in the
deer
context
drives.
of deer drives, yes. Unless we're actually have some terrain that that would
we
come
want to
into
wind
play.
bump them instead of like hooting and hollering through the woods.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that's where I'm like, okay, does moon phase play anything? No, it's like bow
doesn't. Yeah, that got
positioning
debunked.
Well, other people swear by it that have
Yeah.
shot way bigger bucks than us. So
Also science. But
yeah.
Continue.
yes, yeah. Well,
Did the deer tell
I
them?
don't.
Like,
There's
what?
just there's so many things like learning
Yeah.
as you go, and like what can apply for deer drives. Like I'm so curious. I was thinking, was it Whitetail Research or the drone guy? I'm like, I'm so curious on what actually scares the deer more, like hooting, hollering, shooting, wind bumping them. You know, like because it's like, oh, you know, their smell is their best defense.
Yeah.
Is that the argument? And then sight and whatever.
Yeah,
else
they say
deer
sound.
have.
They say sound is their ears are pretty similar to ours.
Okay.
And then they say, I mean, obviously sight's a massive one, and that's like their eyes are literally designed to see horizontally, so like they can see as far like left to right, not as much up and down.
Okay.
So they can see as much around them as possible. So if you see an antelope, you can almost see their eye from behind, and so that's why that's part of why they're so hard to kill, because it's hard to especially if you're archery hunting them, like it makes it so difficult because they can almost see all the way around them, right? And so deer, kind of the similar thing where it's built for the horizon and to be able to catch movement on that. And then obviously smell is probably their biggest, I would say the biggest defense is being able to smell things.
Yeah.
For sure.
But there's just so much.
Did you see Whitetail Research's guy, as long as we're talking about it, did you see his most recent video where he was talking about tracking the deer when people were just going into their stand?
Yeah.
And like how they reacted to that?
I love that. Like
Dude,
that's
it's
what I
so
want to
good.
see more of.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
I'm just like,
He's teasing us. He's
He-
got so many videos ready to rock and roll right now, and he's just trickling them out.
it's unbelievable. Like
Yeah, it's really cool, the stuff he's been showing.
so, but like so, I'm trying to like morph like my mindset. Like almost there's very few drives that I'm able to do like a slow stock like walk through. This year I've set up some specifically for that because the terrain allows me to do that. But most of the time, I mean, I'm literally just
Would you say train and size?
train in
Up the
size.
push?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, most of the time I'm just based on everything I'm doing is just super thick. I'm trying, this is my theory, probably wrong, but it seems to be working so far. I'm trying to get these deer so scared where they essentially just use their sense of I'm running, into
Directly
the
away from it.
yeah, because the only thing I'm really playing is the wind direction, and then my hard edges.
Yep.
Whatever that may be. So I'm trying to scare these deer so they get as far away from me as possible, and try to beeline it. So I'm running
Yeah.
through the woods.
Yeah.
Sprinting.
No, literally. Well,
I-
let's talk about it. So like there's kind of like levels to the spooked deer. And like we've talked about this with deer drives. So correct me if I'm off on any of these. So like the first one would be like you're bumping them from sound and only sound, right? So the wind's not fully in your favor. Maybe it's a marginal wind. So it's like a crosswind where they're not smelling you, but they can hear you, right? As far as like just walking through the woods.
Yeah.
And then next level would be like I'm wind bumping them. They can smell me. And now in my mind, they're going to take the most natural, safest path out. And if that means they're following certain terrains, certain thicknesses, you're then playing into where your people are standing based off of that. Then if you amp that up, it's like I've shot 3 rounds into the ground with my pistol and I'm screaming, running zigzags back and forth to be like, get out of here now. And the thought process being they should be running basically straight away from me as fast as they can. They're not following trails necessarily. They're just literally like, I need to get out of here now.
There's someone about to tackle me and
Yes.
shoot me.
So for
Is
that
that all
aspect-
accurate? Like the levels to it, or is there any I'm missing with that?
Yeah, but the main reason I do is because we just don't have enough deer drivers. Like if I had like
Ooh, that's a good point,
50
yeah.
solid people, I would do every drive quietly. Because
yeah.
and then if I got people on the back door, which is another thing that's been huge that I've added, because like you're saying, most of the time bucks are probably just going back in between us.
Yeah,
And
they'll-
they probably don't even care how loud you are. Like they're just they know exactly where you're at. that's one thing with, was it Mr. Beast or
Dan and Paul.
yeah, whatever.
Mr.
The
Beast is a
But-
different
but,
thing.
yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Get us some of
Yeah,
those bars. Mr. Beast.
Anyways, is that he's like, when people are going through a deer drive and they're hooting and hollering, he's like, don't do that. That buck knows exactly where you're at the whole time you're
they
doing
double
that.
back.
And they double back. But the thing
And
is
we've
that
seen that. Like
we for sure have
we have
seen
evidence.
have seen
of that.
it.
Yeah.
But it's a numbers game in the sense of like, how many people do you have?
How far you spaced apart.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's where it's like, this is what I found to work because, I mean, screaming and like yelling and like full on sprint because if I'm walking straight into this drive and that's where I need to be, but I need another guy 100 yards that way where there's this really thick stuff, but I also have to go this way. I have to sprint that way, yell, shoot, get back into position, and then maintain, my course.
Yeah. So essentially, you're trying to fill the gap. That should take at least two people.
At
Right?
least.
Yes, at least. And I've seen it. We've all
Yeah,
seen it.
yeah.
We've all seen it. And this is where, like, again, you kind of get into like, I think this is where things separate from, again, the FUD side of things, where it's like you just show up, you set people out. Hey, we're gonna generally walk in your direction, and you're gonna generally be ready. It's like there's layers to this, which like we've scoured YouTube of like, hey, like we want more information specific to deer drives.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like people have taken the deep dive, right? Like I know I personally haven't. Like it's been fun to like talk about it and like dig into it. Especially when I get to apply like some theories that I have for archery hunting.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is where I think big bucks would be.
Yeah, I would say the closest thing I've found to something that we do is THP and their muzzleloader drives.
Okay.
They have really good tactics, but what sucks is that they're able to use the terrain and like with these huge, bowls and hills and ridges and stuff, and we're on this flat ground with just thick cover forever.
Yes.
So, but one of the things I don't see them talking about is the actual shooters that they have. I've seen the same guy miss like 3 years in a row at a big buck, and I'm like, if Isaiah or Derek were there, that buck would be dead.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, so a big thing for me is how many people do you have, and then how many actual shooters do you have?
Yeah.
And this goes to what Isaiah was mentioning before the podcast about like training and who you have in what position.
And a lot of it's playing into people's strengths, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
so if you have people who, they go out, they zero their rifle and they got a good zero, but they don't know their holds or something like that. It's
Yeah.
getting them out there and getting them to know their holds at different distances so they can take those kind of shots. And it all depends on what kind of rifle they have built out for. Like my specific rifle is built for 200 yards and in. Mm-hmm. And so it's basically point of aim, point of impact from 50 to 200, and then height over bore, anything closer than that.
I was gonna say too, like I mean, when you look at the scenarios that we're in, and especially, and again, my mind's been in this context of like mature bucks, right? And typically, they're not running out into the open for fun.
Yeah, they're not giving you
yeah,
a 500-yard open sprint shot.
Yeah, like it's more like and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Like I think the only reason that buck that is hanging on the wall right there came out is because it was following that doe. It was locked down with that doe.
Yeah.
Period. Otherwise, I don't think we ever would have seen it.
I don't think you would have, because the buck that came out that I got,
Yeah.
no does, full sprint, staying in the wood line.
Yep.
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 It did
Full
not.
sprint, staying. It did not come into the open.
And it had a 500-yard stretch that it would have had to run along the wood line to
On
get
that
to where
clear-
thick cover is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the buck that I had, I was further to the left, closer to the thick crap. And that buck very easily could have slipped into that because there's nothing preventing it from doing that outside of that doe. And so, like, for me, in my mind, when we're looking at, like, buck shooting, it was like it's based on, like, how big the lungs are on a deer. I'm like, everything is basically center mass of that kill zone. And that's it. Like,
Yeah,
just because
and-
the range we have doesn't get crazy.
And what did we have on that drive? Two drivers.
Two
Was it
drivers.
Two drivers,
on a-
and that
insane.
drive was massive.
Yeah, it was a mile.
Dude, yeah. I mean,
we,
so like
we
that's
drop on one side of it, and then we drove on a road that on the
like
back side
wrapped
of it.
around. Yeah. I mean, so like when you're talking about scouting, like like Isaiah said, where it's like we know we can get does, and it's not an idea. It's like we've done it year over year, where it's like we can fill as many tags as we get, right? Because it's not $2 a tag unlimited now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when it was $2 a tag without knowing much of anything and us just showing up, we like had. I remember the truck bed being like just stacked over the like back of the cab of the truck with does from a day of hunting with not that many drivers and sitters. And now it's like, I feel that's where for me, like part of it is like, I want to do the hard thing. Like I want to see if we can do the exceptional thing, which to me would be like being able to find mature bucks.
Yeah. But there's no point of finding mature bucks if you don't have the right people.
No.
And it can't be overlooked because I feel like it's the biggest overlooked thing. Everyone in my mind has a position on a drive. If I don't have those people, I just don't want to do the drive. Like
Because you're wasting it. You're wasting your
you're
time and
yeah.
energy. Yeah. And
Well,
so
you're wasting the chance of getting that buck in the sense of he might not be in that area. Like we've jumped a buck. I jumped probably like a 145, which is big for me.
to be clear, a 145 in northern Wisconsin is a big buck. Just to be clear, I have a friend who's going down to Iowa, and he's struggling. Shout out to Charlie Johnson. He actually does our business insurance.
Oh, nice.
So he's going down to Iowa for like 2 weeks, up to a month if needed. He's going down. He's waited 7 years to pull this tag, right? He's going down to Iowa, and he's like, all right, the first week, he's like, the hardest part of the first week is going to be passing on deer that are 130 inches. Because all day long, you take that buck in northern Wisconsin.
100%.
Like that is the 180-inch deer of Iowa, right? And so, like in perspective wise, I mean, obviously, like I could set my sights on like, oh, I got to try to get something, that 10-pointer bigger. Reality is like that's not my expectation. Like that's my hope, but if I don't, so that's a mature deer, I would say, for our area. Like just because we don't have props feeding them, we don't have all the right. I mean, it's like they're browsing, and it's just not. It's a different game. It's a different game.
I mean, Seth even, like he hunted a lot here. He shot a lot of those. He did sub-metro. He's done, gun hunting.
Yep.
And his biggest buck was on a deer drive. It was like 184.
Yeah,
And that thing was
what
like
it came down to.
Insane.
Someone was with
Someone
a food
was
plot.
literally feeding that deer year round, like trying to get that deer as big as possible.
And he shot it.
And he did shoot it, baby. Yeah, public land.
Public land.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's what it would take to get a deer around here to that level in most cases. Obviously not all cases, but in most cases. So to pull something off like that 10-pointer even, which for me, like I'm like, that's a buck of a lifetime based off of where we're hunting. I'm like 100%, I may never shoot a deer this big in this area again.
Well, and the thing is like with the shooters, like we've missed opportunities because I haven't had the right shooters. So there's one deer drive where I saw this 145 where it was just Luke on one side and me pushing these small pine.
So two people? Like literally two people?
Literally two people.
Okay.
And it's like a 500-yard stretch thing, and you can't cover crap.
Yep.
And he can cover an opening. Well, this buck scared up like 30 yards away from me. I can't get a shot off at it.
Dude, it's crazy how long
as-
they will hold in place.
As much as I wanted to shoot at it, I'm like, I don't have a clean shot, and that was a big buck. And for some reason, I had self-control and I didn't shoot, which was good because probably would have missed. or
Rule number one,
wounded it.
dude.
All
Just
right.
kidding.
So this thing,
Commandment number one.
this thing runs off. goes into the thickest crap where there's no way I can push it out. Luke saw it, I saw it, and then I don't know if Luke said that bucks go back, will bet in the same area even if you bump them. So we went back there, not with one person, but with another guy.
Yeah.
So still not enough people. Buck was in the same area, probably about 60 yards from where it was before.
Right.
Okay. This guy's covering the section as best he can with a 224 Valkyrie. He just got it not that long ago.
Yeah.
And, newer hunter, this is like second year out with us. And this deer, I'm like, dude, there's a big buck in here. I need you to cover this 10-foot wide shooting lane,
Yes.
which is very small when a buck's running fast.
Yeah.
And I scare it up. It held tight to me. And then it went exactly where, within 100 yards of where it was. And here, and I was like, he didn't hit it. And go up there, see the tracks. It was one single bound over this opening.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to make the shot either. And the buck was gone. It was the last time we saw it. But it was the same area. And if we would have had Derek and Isaiah, I'm like super confident that buck would be dead.
Yeah.
So, it's wasting time. Not wasting time. It's still a learning experience.
Yeah.
But it's so important that like Micah, what was it? His first year out with us, Isaiah, tell a little bit about Micah because he never hunted before, or never shot guns,
never
or
shot
what?
guns. So I met Micah in college a few years back and basically got him into shooting. Right, so we'd go to the range, we'd shoot. He bought his first rifle. Now he's deep into it. He's got some rifles, some other stuff, and so I trained with him a lot over the years, for self-defense and other reasons. And then I was like, you should start hunting with us. I think you're a capable shooter now, and I think this would be really good for you to get some practice on some moving targets and convince him to come out. And he is a crack shot now, so he's solid.
Yeah.
He competes with me pretty well.
Yeah,
I would
and
say.
you had laid essentially being able to have the ability to lay the fundamentals.
Yeah, the fundamentals, no bad habits prior because he didn't really hunt or shoot or anything like that.
Yeah, which can't be understated. I think with like when we're talking about the kind of the situations that you're in a deer drive, again, like people just kind of show up. Like to deer drives in general, where it's like, oh, okay, I sat in the stand in the morning. I'm going to come do some deer drives. Like,
Where
where
are you guys at?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like this mentality. Like, I think, again, where it's just like you don't see a ton of people who are like, you're putting in the work outside of the actual event, if that makes sense, right? Like you're putting it, you have reps, you have rounds downrange, like Isaiah, like the dry firing, like the acquiring, getting your gun up, acquiring the target. All that stuff is like taken for granted, and people and they end up missing out on like real crazy good opportunities, right?
And that's what I was getting into with people wise. It's not necessarily like if a person doesn't have as much experience as what you do is if that person typically they have a scoped rifle of some sort of bolt action. Sometimes they have an AR.
Yeah.
So what you do is you put that person in the most advantageous spot for them. You put them on the biggest openings with the longest, 300-yard shot and in, something where they have time if a deer comes out to get shots on that deer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they're running like a 4x16 scope on it.
Or if they're running, Derek runs an LPVO and he can shoot pretty close range out to some pretty decent distance range as well. And so it's like you can throw him kind of anywhere. I'm running typically a red dot and a magnifier. I'm usually 200 yards in it.
Yeah.
I'm covering the 10-foot, 6-foot, 4-foot trails that these deer are bumping straight across.
Yeah. You may not know it, but I have a nickname for you.
What category? First let's hear Isaiah's.
It's pinch point killer. So
Pinch point killer.
So I have him at the tightest, hardest shooting
PPK.
spot.
Dude, he needs one.
that I can find. So, oh my gosh,
What was that?
Don't worry about it.
All right.
in my head,
talk
I
about it
have
later.
a list of the people and what positions like that they need to be in. And a lot of times Zaya is dropping off the sitters, so he knows the positions that they need to be in. He knows the skill level. And to like press the point of the importance of like Isaiah training. Like he was even out at my place, and we had Mikey, your brother-in-law, my son Owen, my daughter Ivory, and he was running through ready ups and all that different stuff, the fundamentals that need to be done. And it's so key because the first year Micah came out, I didn't really know like how he was. I haven't really shot with him that much.
Yep.
And so I actually had him pushing with me because I'm like, I want my shooters out, whatever. Well, we're doing around this lake drive, and I get out to the opening, and you know, there's a deer down. I kill it because Luke shot it in the butt with his 300 Win Mag, so it's just not doing so good. So, anyways, it was dead after I shot Micah. I told him to push the left side of this lake. So he's pushing it. I shoot. All of a sudden, I see these two flashes run by, like just full tilt, and I know he's down there. So I'm like, "Dear Micah!" And all of a sudden, you hear, and I'm like, "Okay, he shot at something."
He's running suppressed.
He's running
everyone.
suppressed. Yeah.
So I go down there to him. I'm like, did you see the deer? He's like, yeah. I look at, I walked up and I see a deer at his feet, and I was like, and then I'm like looking around. There's another one like, you know, just a little further down, and then I'm looking at his gun, and he's like, yeah, I couldn't see him, so you know, he went by feel, and he shot these deer with his what was he rocking for a sight? Is
Red
it
dot.
red dot?
Just a red dot.
Red
yeah.
dot.
And he literally
packed with
just did
snow.
it by all the stuff that, you know, Isaiah and him were working on, just pulling up the gun and shooting. And he actually there was 3 deer, I guess. And the other one
he got 3.
he got all 3 deer.
Dude, that's
because
so
he's-
Dude, the first drive where I was standing next to him, I'm watching these deer come through, and I'm like waiting for him to get to me, and then all of a sudden, it's like deer dropping. And then it's like, all right, I wanted some sort of chance of getting something.
Right?
It's
Unless
like,
the
come
body's
on,
at the floor and
dude.
just starts
Well,
playing.
Well, after that, like, year after, I go to the gun range and I'm like, oh, see what this guy's know. And then I'm like, beats me at like every ready up, everything. I'm like, suck. I'm like, I guess I'll just keep pushing deer.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Well, and I think, first of all, I do have a question. All right, Mr. PPK. That's you, Isaiah. Pinch point killer. What position do you have me in? Because I'm,
Depends on if your kids are with or not.
you're like, we call you handicapped.
Basically,
He takes a sip of water, just thinking it through.
how do I word this? So
Safety valve.
on the buck drives we did, I put you in the spot that I thought would have the best shooting for buck drives.
Okay.
I have you at a mid to long range. Okay,
okay.
so
Based on optics alone. Based on
basically
Optics-
because
optics
of the
come into
gun,
play a lot.
yeah,
Yes,
so
100%.
because you're using that massive scope and
It's a 4x16. It's fine.
massive. Everyone's doing like what 1 to 6.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Just
With
a
a
real
throw
quick,
lever on it real
a
quick.
real quick tangent. On the close range shooting that I run into on these deer drives, a lot of the time, I have to, if I think I hear something, I cheat my cheek weld, and I have to draw or I have to do a ready up and get a shot off in the vitals in under a second.
Yep.
That is most of my shooting.
Yeah, 100%.
It's literally I hear some crashing through the woods. I basically am getting my gun pre-aimed, low ready at where I think this deer's gonna come out, and as soon as it comes out, click, safety off, boom, and it's you got to get it in almost under a second, or else they're over the small trail.
Yeah, don't put
over
me
this
in, hey,
tiny
Ben,
gap.
Hey, Ben, don't put me in
With
that
a 4 to
spot.
16,
No.
you ain't doing that.
Yeah.
very well. You
The
know.
thing you can trust me to do is to shoot until it's down. That's what you can trust
Yeah.
me to do.
Oh, I believe that. I was there.
That was, yeah, literally, Ben, that you probably hear my cadence, which is tap, 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 tap. I mean, it's just like tap,
Yep.
tap. And like as it's bounding, it's like just following tap, tap. Like it's at the cadence of the deer running. It's not going to be any faster than that. Like it's like as soon as it hits the ground, try to shoot or whatever variants of that. Like if it's in the air.
Yeah.
But I shoot until it's down because, like we said in the last
That's the rule.
podcast, where it's like you have, you can have up to 10, 12 guys, maybe more, or 10, 12 people, whatever, maybe more, where everyone's out there to try to get deer because that is the overall goal.
Yep.
You don't want to waste anybody's time with tracking. And like when you're putting pencil, number 2 pencil size hole in deer, it's like you're not going to be wasting a ton of meat. And I had the 2 bucks. I don't know if I think I had a doe as well last year.
Yep.
All of them were in the vitals running, except for one, I think. It
You
was still in the
nick-
vitals. It was still in the vitals, but it wasn't running.
Yeah. Well, someone nicked a leg on one of your deer, so.
Okay.
But it wasn't meat, so.
But it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't meat, and it wasn't the guts.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's a win. And so like that's the extent of it. So clearly, I've either got to switch my optics or get out to the gun range with Ben to prove my worth.
Yeah, gun range. But since we're talking about position, so like Derek, if I'm driving, I gotta have Derek. Not that
Driving or
pushing
with you, okay.
whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it. So it's not that I don't want him standing. It's just that he's good at what he does in the woods.
Yeah,
And so like
yeah.
I need someone that can keep pace or set pace. And I know that if
You trust he's going to go where he needs to go
and not get lost and all this other stuff that can happen
and not avoid the nasties.
And like Isaiah said, it's like he's like, dude, I want to walk. It's just like, no, I need you in the pinch point killer spot.
So then that brings up an interesting point too, or an interesting question, I guess, in my mind, which is like, okay, so we've, so I'll let you know, Mikey has taken it that we have fully invited him to the group this year. Would that be
Yes.
accurate? Yep.
Correct.
So he was celebratory, to say the least. He's like, I think that means I'm in. Like when you would text him about going out at the range or whatever.
Yep.
So what's your thought process with bringing in new people like Mikey? I think the old thought, which may still hold true, which I don't know, but the old thought had been like, well, if you're new to the group, you're going to be push heavy to least likely to see deer position if you're a stander. What's your thought process bringing in new people? Is it still just like, once I get to know you and like what your capability is, I'm just going to place you in that spot? What's your thoughts?
First in my mind is safety. So like if they aren't training with Derek and Isaiah on the range, like I'm having a harder time just wanting some random people come in. I've seen people
100%,
that
yeah.
they aren't ready.
Yep.
They don't have that mentality or mindset for the deer drive where it's like, I'm going to put you in the worst spot because you haven't put in the time.
Or the spot you're least likely to shoot at someone.
Exactly. So
Yeah, which can be the worst spot.
But I really have been trying to push like people getting out to the gun range. Like even Dave Tuttle brought his brother Mark out last year, and I'm happy like that. New people are showing up, and he put in the work. He helped drag out any deer that other people shot. He's
a big team player. He was telling
Yeah,
me.
exactly. So that's huge. But what I really wanted to see them on the gun range with Derek and Isaiah because
Yeah.
I don't want wounded deer. I don't want to be tracking all day.
Well, here's the thing too. It's like if they come out and they shoot, they got a better chance of getting a deer.
Yeah.
Like they have a significantly better chance not having to think about fundamentals. Well, because people get target focused and then they draw up and they're all over the place. They can't find their
Yeah.
sight.
Yep.
They can't find their red dot. They can't find their scope.
Yep.
Like they're looking through it and they're going, "Where's this deer?" Because they're shooting one eye closed, and you got a LPVO on, and you're not seeing anything
Or
anymore.
they accidentally have it on 16.
Oh yeah, they have it on
power
16
for a-
power for a 30-yard shot. So it's like getting.
I
into,
got out of the truck. It was the first year last year. I get out of the truck and I'm trying to go off of memory. I was like, all the way to the left. That is 4 times. We always start there. We magnify. Like usually, if the deer's further out, you have time to magnify.
Exactly.
Literally get out of the truck. There's like 4 does standing there, and I'm like, why can't I find this thing? It's literally like 60 yards or less. All of a sudden, my whole scope fills up with brown, and I'm like, all right, I guess that's it.
We've all done it.
I took the shot, but I was like, oh, I'm on 16. Bit of an overkill there.
I will say with Mikey, he did come out to the range, and we were running through just some basic drills, fundamentals, even just how to preload your rifle and know that a round's in the chamber. Just some simple tricks you can do, even in the dark, to know that a round's in. And doing ready ups, he went from pretty slow. Like I had a shot timer out there, so he
Nice.
was a little bit slow. And then as soon as I gave him some basic tips and he followed them to the letter, he was 50% faster by
That's
the end of the time.
crazy. That's crazy.
Significantly faster.
That's so good.
Yeah,
I'm really glad he got out with you
and
guys.
the
That's awesome.
willingness to learn too is a huge thing. Being teachable,
Yeah,
and
if
being
you-
able
if
to
you-
listen and apply it. He did phenomenal when he was out there.
Yeah, I've got I mean, it's a little bit of a tangent, but like I have a buddy who's he just bought his first pistol recently because he lives in a shady neighborhood, and he was telling me about someone like messing around with their car for like literally for like 3 hours, like they were outside of their car and then outside of his car. Like he was just like, it was so weird. I'm like, do you need to like borrow? Like I've got extra guns. Like he lives a block away, and I was like, for some reason that block makes the whole difference in the neighborhood, I guess. But anyway, and he finally started getting into it, and it's been a really fun. And we've only been able to text back and forth about it. But even through texting, he stopped by the office a few times and he brought his new pistol, and we're talking about his grip and trying to get that squared away. He's like, "Oh, I'm always shooting low to the left." I'm like, "Well, I can tell you what that is.
Yeah.
It's not your gun,
And he's
buddy."
like,
And so, and like he sent me a bunch of pictures today of like his groups and stuff, and like the improving and like bringing the subconscious stuff that's already happening to the conscious, so then you can start to work on it. That has just been an absolute blast. Like it's so fun, like working with people who are coachable, I guess
Yeah.
is what I'm getting.
well,
at
and
with
that
you.
thing, and when you teach, the best way to learn something is to teach it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, like, I learn a lot, and I really enjoy it when I get the chance to teach new shooters,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's for hunting season or not. I like
Yep.
to do it outside of that with buddies, and it's the best way to keep sharp on your own skills
Mm-hmm.
and to grow and even learn new things on how to teach people new things.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
it's really good.
That's
I like it.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So like, I mean, I think like you had said, Ben, like kind of, I mean, I don't know. Did you have any other main things you wanted to bring up with like people and positions or anything with that?
No, I just think that it's something that's overlooked so much that
100%.
you're wasting your time if you don't have the right people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you're not utilizing those people to the best of their
Their skill set.
their skill set.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it seems like, especially after like last year too, seeing it really in full force in my mind, at least, of utilizing like, okay, what's my numbers, right? Because it's a numbers game when you're doing different size pushes. But then also like, what's the capability of individuals, and then like trying to maximize your odd, like you're trying to stack, because at the end of the
Percentages,
at the end of the day, like dumb luck has to come into play when you're hunting a wild animal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you try to stack as much as you can in your favor, just like archery season, or probably any hunting, right? You try to stack as much as you can in your favor. Any percentage you can squeeze out of it, you do. And then you hope for the best kind of thing. Like you there's always that hope.
If there's a
hope factor.
5% chance that buck comes out, you want a greater chance that shooter in that spot to shoot that buck
Is-
is in the right spot.
Yep, the right spot and capable. Well, and I think like going into this next year, one thing that we've talked about a bit too is having like to eliminate the chaos side of it, because you have guys where it's like, I'm standing here because I was told to stand. I was told that this is where I need to stand, and in many years past, where it's like you said with Brittany, where it's like you're facing the wrong direction, or Derek, you said you're like, I was told to stand here. I'm looking out in the complete really wrong direction. Being able to bring out an iPad, like this is something that I always wanted, where it was like bringing out an iPad or a bigger screen to where it's like you take the 3 minutes of preparation to be like 3 to 5 minutes of like, here's the drive. Ben, you've put in the work to be like, you've literally like drawn on all these drives with Onyx tools to like show exactly what the intent is.
And the quantity of people needed for it, the minimum quantity.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
so like
shooting lanes, like everything is where anyone can look at it if they understand how we hunt, which
Yep.
is key.
yeah. And so being able to go like, let's take that extra couple minutes, because I think the proficiency and the having everyone understanding the actual intent of it eliminates the chaos side of it.
Yeah.
Where it's not like, so if you have a guy who's less experienced showing up, he's able to go wrap his hands around the idea really quickly. And obviously the more drives you get, the more sense that'll make to you
Yeah,
less
that's
time.
one of the biggest things I think that Derek and Isaiah brought up is trying to eliminate the chaos, understanding the push better, so then you know how you're supposed to react when a deer comes out. Like I think, for instance, like there's a spot you're supposed to stand. I think of referring back to the same time where it's you shot the big buck, Isaiah shot his, and then also another one. Well, he was in position, and then what happened?
Yeah, so I was in position up on this ridge, and there was kind of this funnel between my dad and I. My dad was to my right up on another ridge, and he was covering down basically on the
Like
right
a
side.
lake
Yeah,
bottom?
like towards the lake bottom where they'd skirt around.
Yep.
So he didn't have a very good advantage looking down into the valley in between us. And so I see this fork coming through, and I'm like trying to get his attention because I want him to shoot this fork.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I'm like,
come on,
I'm trying to
Dad.
look, and he's like, I never saw it, after the fact, but so I kind of moved from my position, knowing if I go 10 feet this way, I can possibly get a shot at this deer. And then I just ran up, shot it, didn't see any movement, ran back to my spot, got back in the same spot I was before. I didn't go down and check it. I knew it was down because I saw it drop, and I never saw anything run off. So I just barely, there was about a 2-inch gap where I could see the vitals, and so I just put a shot there and ran back up to the top of the hill where I was.
And if you
waited,
didn't-
and if I didn't, I would have not been able to see that bigger second buck run that tree line. And so I just got back in position, was like, all right, hopefully that deer is completely dead, and this deer's, then that big buck ran out, and then I was able to get shots on that because I went back to the spot I was originally was.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it's
it's the
not just
understanding of the plan, like we talked about in the.
But what's the intent, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we want to get deer. If you have a chance to get a deer, take it and then get back in position.
Yeah, and that's where we talked about too, like in the Deer 10 Commandments, where it's like standards, like you stay until the drive's over.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's like that was what was difficult with my buck is that like Luke came out and he's over there like handling the deer, but he's 40 to 50 yards ahead of me, if not more. And so now I've got to change my position because that like eliminated almost half my shooting angle towards Isaiah, or before the shots would be towards Isaiah. And I'm just like, yeah, this is exciting. We're into this, but also like shooting's actively happening. 'Cause
I'm
this
still
all
in the
shooting-
woods.
Yeah, Ben's still in the woods, and Isaiah's still actively shooting. Like there's multiple shots happening.
Ethan
while
was
Luke-
shooting. He stopped. I started shooting. And, it's like,
Yeah, and I'm just like, we've got to like get to a position where we can actually continue or to finish the drive.
yeah. It's
at
being
that
able to
area.
flex, but knowing what to flex to.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
And getting people to come out more and more, get them that experience of, hey, you can move a little bit, but then get back to where you were because people know that's where you are. So they're not going to shoot in that direction.
Yep, exactly. Derek, with coming into it as we're in our later stages of like I don't know if you want to call it maturity or growth in this, where we're starting to like put some real teeth into like how do we exactly want to do this? What are things that you see where you're like, this change has been good, or we could use a change here? Like, what things to you kind of like stand out?
Well, definitely the multiple people trying to take lead. It gets confusing.
Yeah.
So having it kind of set in stone, who's kind of taking point on this?
Yeah.
That's where it comes in with Ben talking about all the scouting he's done and all the Onyx work he's put in. It's like, well, he knows the layout of these so well. It just makes sense.
Yep.
That time put in. I don't know. It's like they're saying, the people in their positions. It's like you don't want to have somebody set up on like a pinch point where Isaiah would be. Again, if you're like, oh, I can shoot long range, but I have no idea how to get my rifle up quick.
Yeah. How many times have we had a bolt action sitting on a pinch point where you've got an opportunity for a 1 second close the deal type thing
too
with
many.
with a scope, mind you, obviously.
I think one thing, and we've talked about it. Now this will be my 4th year hunting with you guys, but just everybody running the same platform, or the majority of the people running the same platform. That way, everybody's pretty used to the platform, again, interchange of mags in case, you ever had to.
Yeah.
Dude, I literally had 2 times last year where my kids, because some of my kids were with me. I had 2 times last year because I'm running like I'm running usually 20 round mags so it's not as cumbersome.
Yeah.
And it was the first 9-pointer that I think Caden was out there with me. And it was literally, the deer started at about 150 yards, probably ended at like 250 plus. And it was, again, shoot till it's down. And it's running along this swamp edge, and it's just tap, tap, deer like completely head down, like
Rolls.
It's
Yeah.
butt up in the air. Like, I'm like, all right, we got him. Gets up again, tap, tap, tap. Deer falls down again. And I'm like, oh, we got him. And then he gets up again, and it's like tap, tap. And it's like the drive's not over. And I'm almost out on ammo because I'm not running a chest rig yet, which like a micro chest rig where you can have 1 or 2 mags at least. And I have Caden run back. I'm like, go get me a mag. And then same thing with the 10-pointer because the drive's not over. Like, again, shoot until it's down. And then we're still shooting. I'm like, get me another mag. Because again, for me going into this next year, big change will be, I think I'll be running at least a micro chest rig where it's like all my stuff's ready and accessible to.
And you can
to
throw
stay
on
in the
medical
fight.
on there.
I shouldn't say stay in the fight. It's like I'm all doing battle ready. No, to stay in the deer drive. Stay in the drive. There we go.
I mean, even but with even the same platform, like coming into it with my background of, I would go out hunting by myself with like a bolt gun.
Yeah.
Getting to know Isaiah and starting getting comfortable with the AR platform. And then when you have everybody at the range, like everybody you're hunting with is out at the range and we're practicing and Isaiah's having us run through drills. It's like, well, all right, we've got shot timers going and everybody's using the same platform, running the same drill, and we're all getting comfortable doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just like a well-oiled machine when you put it all together once hunting season comes. Instead of like, all right, well, we've got one guy that's coming to train with us and he's got a bolt gun and it's like,
We got the
well, you
30-30
can't-
lever action over here.
you can't really do that, which is like, all right, if you don't want to run 5.56 with us, it's like, well, AR-10 with a 308, it's like it's the same thing.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
running a bigger gun.
Yep.
Yeah, and realistically, I mean, when people go to the gun range, if they're practicing with a bolt action, how many rounds are you really putting down range? I mean, you got the cost, and then like you really gonna go through 100 rounds of stinking 300 Win Mag or 30-06 or whatever.
Or zeroing with hunting rounds that are
Well, and
expensive.
people, and I mean, people can say what they want, but like, it's not enjoyable shooting a gun that's gonna kick like crazy. Like, you're not gonna want to put 100 rounds down range, and like, I mean, people just, it's not fun. You get out with an AR and like you are enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's not punishing.
Well, and it really helps having somebody like Isaiah with experience who can run people through drills too. You're not just going out there and you're like, all right, well, we're just gonna see how many shots we can hit on paper.
And
It's
that's
like,
so funny because that was when I was talking to my buddy with his new pistol. I'm like, intention is going to be so important for you. I'm like, he sent me a video and I'm like, you're like, immediately I was like, your cadence is way too fast for your skill level. Like, that makes no sense that you'd be shooting that fast. I'm like, you've got to like start really thinking about what you're doing, why it's why your bullet is landing where it's landing. It's not the gun, right? And so then what things do we need to change? And so like going out there with some intention, like with Isaiah bringing that, where it's you're actually honing and sharpening skills instead of just pew, 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 pew for fun.
Yeah, and ethically too, when it comes to even hunting the animal, you can have like the FUD hunter doing their drive, and these guys have got a bunch, and we see them when we're out hunting too. It's like, I mean, they're out there to hunt, but guys with lever guns or bolt guns, and they got their own party, and they probably don't practice with the rifle. And if a deer comes through, maybe they shoot at it, maybe they hit it, maybe they wound it, and then they're off tracking it. Who knows if they get it? But if you're putting the time in to actually train for these things, it's like, well, now you're like actually putting the training into practice, and you're using it, and it's like, all right, well, we're doing this for a reason, because we want to like you said, we got so many different drives we want to do. So it's like the time thing, but there's also the ethical thing too of like, you're training to put that deer down quick, So you don't have to track it. The thing's dead fast. We can go on to the next one. It's like,
Exactly.
again, it's like this well-oiled machine, and it's so interesting to see coming into it, not having that sort of experience. And it's like each year we've been changing something different, and it's just gotten more oiled and running better and better and better.
Refining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up back to the planning of the deer drives. A lot what we've done in the past is we'd show up to a deer drive and everyone has to be quiet, getting into their spot. Everyone has to do all that, and so we didn't get to tell people, hey, this is where you're going. This is what we're trying to be quiet, right? But so off of the first deer drive that we do, because it's unavoidable. At the end of that deer drive, we should get everyone together, show them the next deer drive, because we can be as loud as we want now. We just push this section.
Yeah, that's a
show
good
them the
point.
next
Yeah,
deer
yeah.
drive prior to it, and then continue that cycle for the rest of the day. And so we're not getting stuck trying to explain things out loud to a group of people right next to
you're
the
trying to set
area
up-
we're
yeah.
pushing.
You're about
Exactly.
just
And so
push.
everyone get
Yeah,
together
you're
at the
trying
end
to
of
shut
the
the
first
car
deer
door
drive.
super quiet, and then you're like, all right, guys, here's what we're doing all loud.
So prior to the next deer drive, we need to really show everyone the next deer drive before we get there,
Yes, exactly.
because that'll cut down with the confusion quite a lot.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. Dude, I think that there's a lot to be gained just in the type of hunting that we're talking about when it comes to rifle season and deer drives. And whether it's someone who it is like, hey, I do the morning sit, I do the evening sit, and then I want to do deer drives in the afternoon for a few hours or, half the day, whatever. I think there's so much that can be gained and taken from this, from the last episode and this episode, just to make those more successful for everybody, right? It's like the time invested, and then being able to pick the right spots, put the people in the right people in the right spots, so that when you're going out, like you're maximizing your time and you're making, like I don't have a ton of deer drives outside of, you guys probably got some core memories with almost getting shot. But I don't have a ton of deer drives where we didn't get deer that I remember, right?
Yeah.
And so like we're out there to get venison, make memories, like celebrate together, and share all those memories. And I think that if people were to spend a little more time focusing in on actually like putting some front end work on it, or having at least some conversation about how to go about doing these things, they'd end up having a lot more success, which is, I think, the end goal for everybody. So
Yeah, and that's the thing is us three are pretty much hunting the whole season. And so when people come out for those 2 or 3 days of drives, we want them to be successful.
Yeah,
because they're
yeah.
only out for a limited time a lot of the time.
yeah,
right?
it's
So-
funny. It's funny because
And
like
they
I
need to
kind of
meet.
look like they
need
I,
meat, yeah.
Yep, and I kind of look at like the people who are able to stay out there the full 9 days here in Wisconsin. I look at like you guys are essentially like the guides, right? And the guides, like their a lot of their motivation is like, I want to see these people be successful, right?
Exactly.
And you're open to like success looks like a bunch of doe meat, whatever. Like that's great. Oh, we want to go for bucks. Like we got options, right? And, but I also know you're okay with not seeing anything the whole day. And so it's really cool to start to like add different tools to the toolbox, and see this thing kind of evolve from what we've grown up doing, where it was just kind of whatever. Yeah, I guess we're walking here. I was told it was public land. Before we had Onyx.
Speaking about adding tools to a toolbox, I'm excited this year. Dave Tuttle and Mark are going to be joining us again, and Dave Tuttle's he's our reloader guy, so that's something we'll probably talk about in future episodes of just how that's evolved, even with the ammo we're shooting, and so. And he's going to be a long range shooter. So I think is he AR-10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what he's
Yeah.
running? Okay.
Yeah, he's a 6'5", I think.
Yep.
Dude, this is so funny. So, like, I don't know how much you guys pay attention to online stuff, but like running 5.56 and 6.5 Creedmoor stuff, like it's like this weird hot topic debate thing, and so I'm excited
we've gotten
to
into it.
Yeah, no, and then so I'm excited to discuss and look at platforms and efficacy of those platforms.
and really, because I've got my thoughts as well. So I'm about to bunny trail it, but I won't. We'll end the episode here, and then we'll maybe jump back in talking about equipment. Does that sound about right to you guys?
Yeah, that
Equipment
sounds good.
and what we're using. Sweet. All right. Once again, without Dusty, the best co-host on the planet. Peace out.